Welcome to the Enthusiast Gaming Podcast, where today we're going to be discussing the current state of retro video game prices. With me is my good friend Wes. Wes, how you doing?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well also. Now, before we hop into it, I just wanted to let you guys know, if you enjoy this content, please go support us over on Patreon. It really does help us out. Patreon.com/nerdenthusiast. You guys can get early ad-free access to a variety of our shows, including this one. Now, real quick, we just want to be upfront with you guys. We are not investors. We are collectors. You guys can choose to invest money on the topics we discuss at your own risk. So that's completely up to you. Going into the retro game prices is something that we do pretty frequently here. It's a segment that recurs every few months. We, want to take a peek and see what's happening in the market. So we are going to be using price charting, so you know. I know that's not a perfect website, but it's an easy way to look at a lot of data. I'll put some of those graphs and stuff on display for you guys to check out. We're going to be using the standard US versions of games. We aren't going to be using, for example, if we bring up a game and it has a not for resale version, we're just using the regular version, not the not for resale version. Now, for the most part, we're going to be discussing, common games like Contra for NES, for example, stuff like that. Stuff you would, pick back up again when you would reacquire a system, or if you were picking up a system for the first time, like common games that everybody wants, basically. However, we will also look at some rare games. Little Samson's going to be in there, uncommon titles, and some highly sought after ones as well. But for the most part, we're going to be sticking to the common stuff because that, I think, gives us a better idea of where the market currently is. Now, the first thing we want to talk about with pricing is just a little icebreaker for you guys, because this was unbelievable. We were doing some research for this show, looking at some different prices, Wes and I stumbled across this on eBay. And I mean, this is a digital code, not a video game. It's for a video game, but it's a digital code that's sealed that somebody was selling online. Wes, have you seen this?
I haven't seen the graded one, but it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, so this is a sealed VGA graded Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for PS3, which never physically released, because we were going to look at that game as an idea for a later segment in the show. And then Wes was like, I think it was on PS3. I was like, nah, I don't think it was on PS3. And it was on PS3, but it was a digital code
It was
only.
digital copy only.
And we found this dude was selling it on eBay. Let's see. He's asking $999.99 for a sealed, 90 plus grading on his digital copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which they made a box for, so there's like a PlayStation case, but there's a big yellow banner at the top that says "not a game disc, the game download only." Who would pay that much money for a digital code that's unopened?
Bro, it doesn't surprise me because you remember back in the day, people were selling pre-orders and it was just a receipt for like hundreds of dollars.
All right, so we're gonna hop into the pricing now. I just want you guys to know that all dates when we talk about June 2022, those prices were taken from our recording date, which is today. It's June 29th, 2022. The other dates that we go over: August 2020. May 2021, and then June of 2022. But in case June changes when you look at it, it's June 29th today, and these are the prices from today on price charting. Now, with that being said, Wes, what's going on with Steel Battalion?
Yeah, Steel Battalion, Steel Battalion we talked about a couple times already. One of my favorite games, one of my treasures in my collection. It was the Microsoft mech game that came with the giant 40-button controller.
Massive.
Massive. Loved it. Super hard. Loved it. But it's on the decline. We talked about it in one of our videos about pricing, and it was up.
Yep.
It was up a lot. In August of 2020, a complete in-box was $303. Then it jumped to $536 in April of 2021. Now, as of today, June 29, 2022, it dropped to about $400.
Now, if I remember correctly, that's the price it came out at, wasn't it? Wasn't it $399?
$399.
So you can get one today, complete in box, for the same price that you would get in whatever year that came. What was it, like 2005 4, probably
I
3,
don't
something like
remember. Something like that.
that. That's crazy. And
It is.
now the other games we get into, just so you guys know, we're going to focus on loose, complete in box, and sealed as well. But for Steel Battalion, you can't really buy that game if it's not complete in box. Like you need to have at least the controller in the game in order to play it. So that's why we only talked about those prices for that one.
Right, because that game is totally unplayable without the controller.
Yes, that's why we only focus on complete in box. Next up, we got Wes's t-shirts represented, but we got Sonic and Knuckles.
You know you're a
So
Sonic fan. You love your Sonic.
yeah, so this the reason we picked this is important because this is also a theme. If you guys notice that a new version of a game is coming out or a new movie, typically that's going to cause an increase in price.
Mhm.
Not different here with Sonic and Knuckles. Since 2017, this game has been relatively going up year over year. If you look at price charting. February of 2020. The reason I chose that date, that's when the first Sonic movie came out. As like a baseline, a loose copy was $13.23. You guys don't need the change. I'm not going to give you the change. Complete in box $32. Sealed was $273. May of 2021, so a year later, a loose cart was $24. Complete in box was $61, and a sealed copy was $309. Now, in June of 2022, after the release of Sonic 2, which featured Knuckles, $33 for loose, $108 for complete in box. So a pretty good jump there. And then sealed is $1,009, so like a $700 increase in just over a year for the sealed copy.
$1,000 for Sonic.
Yeah, man. You know the other reason why is because Sonic and Knuckles is a cardboard box. It's not one of the plastic shell
True.
cases, so some people probably threw them away. I'm sure having that box is harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which that also is reflective in the complete in box copy going up. I think that doubled its price in the past year as well. So there you go. Get your Sonic. Plus, it's really the best way to play Sonic 3. You got to hook it up to them and get it all in there. Super Mario Sunshine. Now, this is another interesting case that's on the decline. And there's a reason I believe for this as well. So in August of 2020, a loose copy was $60, complete in box $75, sealed was $184. A loose copy in May of 2021, $35, complete in box was $43. I think I messed it up. Loose is $35, complete in box is $43, and a sealed copy is $194. So this actually went down in May 17th, 2021. Do you know why it went down, Wes? Because I do.
Yeah, well, didn't they do the Mario collection for Switch? So they like re-released it.
Yep. Once that re-release happened, the decline
Mm-hmm.
started, and it has not stopped. In June of 2022, $29 for a loose copy, $35 for a complete in box. Sealed
Yep.
did continue to go up, but I mean that's expected with sealed games. It's $202 for a sealed copy of Super Mario Sunshine, which isn't that much more, than it was in 2020.
No,
Used
that's
to
a
be,
that's a huge decline though. You figure 2 years ago it was at just a complete in box was $75, and now today it dropped like half,
yeah.
more
I
than half.
mean, when companies re-release stuff, that's typically gonna maybe not kill, but it's certainly going to lower the value of the harder to find copies. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
I agree, definitely agree.
Like Persona 4 Golden was going up and up and up on Vita, but they're about to release that on Xbox now and Switch. I can almost like there's going to be hardcore Vita players out there, so I'm sure it's going to like hold its value pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to be worth as much as it once would have if it didn't get re-released on those consoles.
True. But the thing is, it's like Mario games always kind of held their value. So it's
True.
odd to see a Mario game on the decline.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like most Mario games, like if they come out and we're like $50, and you buy it 10 years later, it's probably still going to be close to $50. Maybe you get it for like 40 or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's usually holding its value pretty well because they're easy to resell. You got something in Mario in your store, I guarantee you're selling it, right? It's not sitting there.
Oh no, it goes pretty quick.
Yep, guaranteed. Just like this next game, which is
Pokemon Black 2.
yeah, this is a DS. Probably one of the better DS Pokemon games. I think at least that's one that people commonly look for. I don't know much about Pokemon games, so I'm gonna let you talk about this one.
You know what? I, I think I mentioned it before. I wasn't a huge Pokemon person until like way later. But yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And it's but Pokemon consistently kind of holds their value. So, for example, August 2020, a loose just a cartridge was $92. Complete in box was a little bit more at 95. Then we jumped to May of 2021. It dipped a little bit because just a loose cartridge was $71, but the complete in box jumped doubled it to 160. And then as of June 2020, the loose rebounded and jumped back up to $98, just under $100. But the complete in box declined to $120.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder.
It is.
I wonder why. There's another game coming up later on. Not to spoil anything, but I won't say what it is. That has a really weird. Actually the sealed copy dropped a lot, which is bizarre. I don't know. I don't know why. We could discuss why we think when we get there. But I mean, this is definitely interesting because Pokemon has been, for a while now, just constantly increasing. To see it drop at
Mhm.
all is kind of surprising.
It is. It is. Every time we get a Pokemon game in the store, it's usually a hefty penny to buy. And, Pokemon, just like Mario, is a name that always holds its value.
Yep.
So to see, to especially a sealed copy, to see a sealed Pokemon game kind of decline. I mean, not saying it's super cheap,
That one was complete in box.
right? But not saying it's super cheap, but it's still not what it used to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's interesting. But I know another reason I think this is going back to what we mentioned a few minutes ago is these games had a case. They had a real plastic case.
Hmm.
Though the ones that came out before that, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver that had the Poke Walkers, those had a
Hmm.
cardboard case that held the Poke Walkers, and I think they're worth a lot more if you have the entire thing instead of just the plastic case that had the
I
game.
got you.
So I think that really changes the price with those. But that's another theme you're going to see with any retro game prices. If it has a cardboard box and you have the box, that's good. That's going to hold its value a lot more.
Definitely. And yeah, I was referring to complete in box. I think I said sealed. It's complete in box.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't put the sealed pricing on that one for some reason, and I didn't on one of the next ones as well, which is College Football 14 for the Xbox 360. Wes, do you know why we picked this one?
I, you know, I, what college football? this one I don't. It kind of baffled me because I'm like college football. They're a dime a dozen.
But not
We
this
sell
one.
we sell them for like $1. But this one, no, this one's different.
This was the last college football they made, the last
Yep.
NCAA football game that was made by EA. Now they're
Yep.
supposed to remake uh, a new version of this. They didn't say it's necessarily going to be called NCAA football, 2022, 2023, whatever they're going to call it when it comes out. But it is a new college football game. It is from EA, and I think that's why you're going to see the price. Well, price is about the same as where it was, but not its peak. In 2020, people were really looking for this game, so it did drop since then. But since 2021, it's been about the same. So, but 2020, you're looking at loose copy 105, complete in box 117. May 2021, $71 for the loose copy. So it started to drop. Complete in box dropped also to $72. Um, then you got loose was $62 in 2022 June, and complete in box is $74. So relatively about the same there, but you definitely see the drop since August, and I think it might have been around this date of May 17th, 2022. For those prices, I think it was right before then they might have announced that they're going to make a new one, and then you started to see that price go down a little bit.
Hold on. But even still, that for a college football, who would have thought?
Yeah, man, you could update the roster. If you have that copy, you can still, it was the last version that they made. You can update it and put in, whatever, players are in there and
Mhm.
make it be as close to the thing as you possibly can.
I'm actually excited for the new college football. I've always loved the NCAA footballs. I thought they were great.
I can never get into college football. I don't know why. I hear it's great, but I'm an NFL guy all the way.
Go Cowboys.
Ugh, this guy. Now, next up, this is one we talked about in the beginning of the show, is the example that I used. So now we're going to start seeing some of the stuff that I think is like, at least this particular game is going to be more of like a baseline, and probably the next one also, but the next one has a big name on it. Contra, NES.
Mhm.
This is a common NES game. Everybody that gets an NES wants to play Contra. Loose copy, $27. Complete in box, $99. This is back in August 2020. May of 2021, a loose copy is $32. Complete in box, $200. Doubled its price. Now we got June of 2022. Loose copy, $34. Complete in box, $165. So that has dropped. The loose copy actually went up in value, but the
Mhm.
complete in box lost about almost a fourth of what its value was in a year, which is crazy.
It's crazy. It's but like you said, Contra is a name everybody knows. When people come into the store and they buy a Nintendo, Contra is one of the 5 titles they always look for.
I'm going to ask you for at least one Mario game,
Yep.
Contra, maybe you get a little Zelda in there, something like
Punch,
that.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Punch Out,
so,
absolutely.
so yeah, so Contra is always on everybody's want list, and to see it rise and then drop, but it's still, again, it's Contra. So to get a complete in box copy, I mean, you're still going to pay, but at least the prices are starting to dip just a little bit, so it's more obtainable.
For those, yes, the sealed ones are crazy though. The sealed Contras right now are going for $8,500 if you have a sealed Contra,
Yeah. Oof.
which I
Who
think is
would-
pretty high because Contra was like a common game. You know what I mean? So you got to
Exactly.
figure there's some sealed copies out there. There's not. It's not like the hardest sealed game to find. $8,000 for Contra, Jesus.
Who would still be sitting on a sealed Contra? That's kind of like the sealed Mario. People bought it to play it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I don't know. I also would never buy a Contra for $8,000. Like, I don't care if it's sealed. Like, I'd be way more willing to pay for the complete in box copy. That's like, what was it, $160?
Yep.
I'd be way more willing to do that than I ever would to pay $8,500 for some plastic over top of it. Get the
Because
hell
I'll
out of
be
here.
Nah, I'd be tempted to open it and play it.
Oh man, then you might as well just get a complete in box one.
Which is true. Which is true.
There was a guy. I don't know if you guys, if any of you guys watch John Riggs out there. He makes YouTube content, and he goes to conventions. He's into retro games and stuff. He's a cool guy. He recently purchased a pack. It was like, NES games came in 6 packs. If you guys didn't know, it was a cardboard pack of 6 pack of brand new sealed games, and I forget what the title of the game was, but he bought a sealed pack. So the games were sealed, and they were also the box was also sealed. So he had a brand new 6 pack of NES games, and he opened one up, and he's like, I just have to do this, like I have to open up one of these in this year. He did it this year in 2022. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like he cracked one of those seals on, a game from the 80s. Maybe it was in the 90s. I don't know which title it was. But you should check out his stuff. He does good work. Now, staying on the Nintendo train, Wes, who's up next?
Pokemon Stadium 2 for Nintendo 64. That game was so much fun. That's so much fun. But like we said, Pokemon, it's one of those roller coasters. It's up, it's down, but Pokemon is consistently hot. So for like in August of 2020, a loose cartridge was $45. A complete in box was $174. Then we jumped to May 2021. Uh, a loose copy was $76. So, the price rose a little bit. But then the complete in box jumped to $260. And then in June 2020, the price dipped a little bit because the loose was like $68, but the complete in box rose just a little bit to like $290. And that's we won't even well, we can mention I'll mention that the sealed copies, those continue to rise in price because it went from August 2020 to 250 to just under 300 in 2021. Now it's like $615 in June 2022. Wow. I mean, again, like I said, Pokemon, you can't stop it. You just
I
can't
mean,
stop it.
the other thing helping that game right now is that N64 is still pretty hot. People are still out there looking for N64s. You mentioned to me
Mm-hmm.
that you can't keep them in stock at the store, so
Nope.
I'm sure if they see a Pokemon game along with it, they're going to snag that thing up.
Oh,
Unless
of
you're
course.
me, then I'm not going to snag that up.
It's Pokemon. Like I said, anything Pokemon. Everybody talks about this new game, Pokemon Arceus, and it keeps the hype alive.
Next up for me is a Deep Deep Love. There's a little Castlevania action for you guys. Now this is a GBA game. GBA is still really hot right now, but I feel like if you're getting into GBA, you're late to the party. The games are really getting up there in price. August 2020, Aria of Sorrow, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, $58, complete in box, 160, sealed, 279. That was August of 2020. May 2021, loose copy was 125, complete in box is 257, and is sealed is 390. So in May, you're seeing increases across the board with all three of those. Now let's jump to today, June 29th, 2022. Loose copy, $100, so it lost 25. Complete in box, 226.25. So that lost about $25, $30, something like that. And then your sealed copies continuing to go up, 572 on the sealed side of Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. Sealed
I
keeps
mean,
going. I mean, what are you gonna do?
yeah, exactly. I mean, seals keep going up, because I can understand the sealed continue to increase in value because there's so few of them that are still sealed. Uh, and Castlevania is another one that always seems to hold its value. Even though it dipped a little bit, it's still $100 just for a loose cartridge.
Well, this is another scenario where I think it dipped for a reason. This was just re-released on digital platforms for all the major systems.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go download it. You can download all three GBA games for like $15 or something like that. So which one are you gonna buy? Are you gonna are you
Yeah.
gonna get a loose one for like what is it going for 60 some dollars right now for a loose
Oh,
Castlevania?
loose one? Now it's $100.
Oh, I'm sorry, $100. You're gonna spend $100 on it. You're gonna go spend
$100.
15 and just download it and have it in 2 seconds. So that's probably what's driving this is for collectors. That's what this is for. If you want that cartridge, you want that complete in box
Mhm.
game, you got to pay the price. Everybody
You
else
do.
is going to force the price down. So they're just like, oh, I'm just going to get it digitally, whatever, But when you take away some of that pool, that's what happens. They took away a huge section of people who would have potentially bought this game because it was the only way to play it, to now like cutting a chunk of that, and like those people are no longer in the market to buy this game.
Right, because of course, it's $15.
I think it's 15. Don't quote me on that, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's like
but
15.
you have all three. But again, it's the digital. We all know how I kind of feel about the digital.
Right there with you, man. Now let's get back to a few more common games. Castlevania Aria Sorrow, I wouldn't say is like I would say it's probably uncommon. I wouldn't say that it's rare at all. Just the complete and box one is, and the sealed ones are obviously expensive. But let's go super common. Let's go to like one of the most common games we could possibly come up with. Gears of
One of
War
your
2,
favorites. Your
Xbox
favorite.
360.
Your favorite.
Love Gears, love it all. It's a travesty that this game is as cheap as it is.
Joe's dirt cheap.
August of 2020, $3. I'm going to say the cents for this one because I have to give it a little bit of a bump. August August 2020, loose copy was $3.25. Complete in box was $5.50, and a sealed copy was $23.82. May of 2021, loose copy $3.70. Complete in box $4.89. Sealed $42. So you see the sealed one hopping up. Complete in box went down, and the loose copy slightly rose. Now in June 29th of 2021, loose copies on the rise, $4.35. Look out.
No, look at that.
Complete in box rebounds, $6.52. And the steady sealed copy, $46.75. So it increased a few bucks there. So overall, it's for that 360 game, it's up. But I mean, it's not busting anybody's bank. You can get a silver for $46. Come on,
But Gears, it's a shame it's so cheap. That game was so good,
it's fantastic.
so good. But Microsoft printed so many copies, so they're all over the place.
And you can digitally download it as well, so it's readily available. It's on Game Pass also. So
It is. So it kind of hurts my heart a little bit. Like I said, we all love Gears, just to see it go so cheap. But
no doubt. Wes, I don't know. Did you dabble in Assassin's Creed? Did you play Assassin's Creed
I
at all?
did. I did. Oh man, when Assassin's Creed came out, I was super excited because I was still on my Prince of Persia: Sands of Time high.
Hmm. So
So,
you were into the Ubisoft like ecosystem.
oh, definitely, I was all about it. So then I saw the trailers for Assassin's Creed, and I was all in. I was all in.
Me too. I was there day one.
Kind of fell off towards the you know later years, but in the beginning, all in. And Assassin's Creed is very similar to the Gears of War. They made so many copies, and it's so common. But in 2020, a loose copy was $4.32. Complete in box was $6, and a sealed was 16. Then we jumped to May 2021. You're looking at $3.84 for just a loose CD, $3.89 for a complete in box, and the sealed was $15.
Man,
And then today, but it gets a little better because today, 2020, the price goes up a little bit to $4.28 for just a CD,
here we go.
$4.97 for complete in box, but the sealed, it dipped a little bit. You're looking at $12.
I mean, you're still looking at overall these are down from 2020 levels, which is surprising. You'd figure like these games are older at this point, this would be going up, but I guess it's another thing. Assassin's Creed, I'm sure, is available now to download on whatever system you want for probably like $5, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you could just have it. If you go to any store, I'm sure there's a wall of Assassin's Creeds, or like at least a section where you can grab a fistful of Assassin's Creeds.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. I think Assassin's Creed kind of saw its day when the movie came out. There was like a
Hmm.
little increase in popularity, but then they were supposed to make more in the movie. They only did the one, and then the price just kind of plummeted.
Yep. Our next game recently got a movie made out of it as well. That's Uncharted 2. Probably one of the most sought after PS3 games. Again, this is why we're picking these. Like, we're figuring if you get one of these consoles, if you get a PS3, you're going to get Uncharted 3. I'm sorry, Uncharted 2. You should get 3 also. If you get an Xbox 360, you're going to get Gears 2. You should be getting Assassin's Creed and checking out, the first one. Wes, Uncharted 2, is it on the rise, on the decline? What's going on with it?
It's kind of flat, but it looks like it's slightly on the decline because you got August of 2020, just the CD was $4.59. Complete in box was $5, and then the sealed copy was almost $12. And then 2021, it dropped a little bit, a few cents, $4 for a loose. Complete in box was $4.15, so it's a little better. And then the sealed increased to $14. And then today, $4.70, $4.79 for a complete in box. That was for the loose. Complete in box was $4.79. And then the sealed bumped up just a little bit to $17.50. Uncharted 2 was so good though.
Oh yeah, it is. It was. I think that was when I bought a PS3. I think it's
Mhm.
when, like, I think Uncharted 2 would have been out for like a little while. I was like, all right, I can't take it anymore. I was a hardcore Xbox 360 guy, and then Uncharted won me over.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's just a CD, just a loose CD, always hovered in the $4 mark.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It always hovered in the $4 mark.
I mean, it's a
And
pretty common game. And look at the complete in box, $4.79. Like, who wouldn't pay the 9 extra cents to get the box? Come on,
exactly. Exactly.
like that's insane.
So basically, we mentioned three common games that were all great in their own right. different systems, but they were still fantastic and they were super dirt cheap. So just go after titles that are good, man. Whether
Yeah,
they're re-released or not, movie or not, backwards compatible or not, it's the games are still good.
yeah. Go after the ones that This is for you guys who are like hunting for games, basically, that you want to find stuff that's going to be somewhat relevant. Go after those great titles, but if you care about the price, don't go after stuff that's re-released or you think is going to get re-released.
Mhm.
Check the backwards compatibility list. If it's backwards compatible, that's going to make it easier and more accessible to people. So if you're going for games for value, you should check those things, and that'll kind of give you an idea. The harder it is to get something, that's really what's going to drive the price. And of course, it being good or great, that's also going to drive the price. Which a perfect example for me is Little Samson, which we're going to get into later because that game is supposed to be like one of the best NES games, and it's super hard to find, which is why everybody wants it, which is why the price keeps going up.
Keeps going up.
But we'll get there. We're not there yet.